Okie dokie. Yesterday we did G, C, and D. Today we're gonna keep C and G, and we're gonna show a new chord called F, which will be your nemesis, and how these work together in a similar way. Okay, so if you look at the fretboard, when we played G, this root note, that's G. And when we moved up to C, this root note is C. And then we played D, which is open. This is the D string, this open string right here. Put another way, G to C on the 3rd fret to D on the 5th fret. You see this pattern. This same pattern exists if you start with C. For instance, here's C, F, and G again. So, C major, again, with our ring finger on the 3rd fret, middle finger on the 2nd fret on the D string, and our index finger on the 1st fret on the B string. Now, F major is what is known as a bar chord, and that means taking, in my case, my little smoky finger, and I'm going to hold it over all of these strings at the same time. And if you've never done this, it is going to hurt real bad for a while. But then when it stops hurting, everything's great and everything's fine. So, again, if you look on the piece of paper I sent you, there's all these ones. That means your index finger is going to go here. So in this case, we're going to use our other 3 fingers. So the ring finger will go on the 3rd fret of the A string. Your pinky goes on the 3rd fret of the D string. And your middle finger goes on the 2nd fret of the G string with this bar, boom, holding it all down. Now, I don't expect you, if you've never done this, I don't fully expect you to be able to do this just yet. But it's illustrating a larger point so you can see how these simple chords go together. So, much like G here to C, much how those two go together, going from C to F, kind of sounds the same way. And then, much like G to C to D, C to F to G, sounds, it's a different key, but it sounds exactly the same. So for instance, we can go C to F to G to F to C. Now, again, I'm being a little repetitive, but to continue to illustrate the sound, G. Okay, so C major, F, G to C major. Now the last thing I want to say today, before I fool around and give you just another example of how these 3 chords go together. And this is going to have to do with the root notes that I'm talking about so we can communicate in this video fashion. C, F, and G. So, as I'm shown on at the bottom of today's page, if F is this bar chord, by sliding everything up to the 3rd fret, where your index finger covers everything, you are now playing G major. So to hear the distinction between the two, this is G open, This is G as a bar chord. You can hear they're almost identical. This relationship we'll get to down the road, but I just want to plant that idea in your mind now, because knowing that you can just slide this position all over, you can play all of the notes. Next lesson, the same thing will be true when we work on A, but we'll do that later. So, for instance, an old Rolling Stones song with the chords you've learned. So, well, I saw her today at the reception. Glass of wine in her hand. I knew she was gonna meet her connection, and her feet was wanted to this man. No, you can't always get what you want. Goes up to D, but if you try sometime, you just might find get what you need. Okay, what's another one that I can think of? This is an old Paul Simon song, but it's C, F, and G, and it's kind of fast, but it's fun. So. I guess she thought I was alright. Alright in sort of a limited way for an off night. She said, don't I know you from the cinematographer's party? I said, who am I to blow against the wind? I know what I know, say what I said. Come and we go. It's a thing that I keep in the back of my head. Yeah, so anyway, it's a little self-indulgent, but C, F, G, and you can also play G this way. I promise next one will be a little better. We'll work on E, A, and B, and from there we have all of the basic open chords. So there you go.